Marhaba. Welcome to the second day of IGC 2015. Let's see if I can do this. So my name is Huda Mahdi. I have been identified as a Catholic journey. I cannot jump high in Spain, so I have no idea what the similarities are or whatever. I don't know what they're talking about, so, but that's not me, and I have nothing to do with the design. Just to make this clear. I am a software developer, actually. I'm working as a contractor at SKI, Sony Computer Europe, Ltd. I've been working there for, Formula. I've been working there for more than a year now, doing developing tools, software, like soundtrack exporter. Anyone here has been working on that or used that, and also going on another project to support developers work on PlayStation View. If anyone has seen that, that's an American project. I did my, this is like a lifetime ago, I did my MSc in Games Tech here in London, and this is why I came here a few years ago to finish that. And before that, I studied my bachelor's in Stockholm University in games development. So it's been like games all the way. What many people don't know about me is I'm a language enthusiast as well, which basically means I like to travel different places. I like languages, I really like them. I like how they build bridges between cultures. And I think I've spoken like 6 different languages at some point. Like spoken like really colloquially living. Pretty much Arabic, Swedish, English, some French, Serbian, some Japanese. Those were the languages. French because I had no choice. Like I had to. I studied it for 6 years. That was 10 years ago. It's like, oh yeah, I'm getting old. So that was okay. And then a bit Serbian, because once in a lifetime I used to live in Yugoslavia. I don't even know what they call it nowadays. Sorry, I don't know, it has another name, but it was called Yugoslavia when I was living there. Do I have Yugoslavians there? No. Oh, that's good.
That's not long, maybe.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to offend it. But today I speak Arabic, English, and Swedish on a daily basis, sometimes simultaneously. So, if you see me talking and coherently, it's normal in my family. Japanese was the latest add. I studied Japanese in 2009. It's the typical story where you seen anime your whole life and you don't know what it is, and all of a sudden a friend comes and like, ooh, you're into manga, I'm like, sure, what's that? And then since then it's like anime founded and craziness and having good back. But I thought, I studied Japanese to get closer to the culture, to understand different nuances, accents, and to understand different characters and what they're about. So I did that. I'd like to go back one day and really become very good at Japanese. But for now, I have to stay with the name side. So that's a bit about me. You can find me on Twitter, Waco. So yeah. Right, so let's get down to business. So I'll be talking about localization, and I'll be bringing up 3 points, major points. What is localization? Why it's important, and how to localize. It's going to be very high level, so very introductory level, and it's going to be from a software developer's point of view. So I am by no means an expert in this. This is more like what I have found out as I have been, working with this from a software developer's point of view, and where I think we as game developers need to think more about this, especially in the indie scene where not many reach out to other cultures, other geographical areas. So, what is it? You can't get rid of geekdom, so to say. Yeah, how many here know what localization is? Wow. That's good. I asked that question at a university, and there were very few people who actually put their hands up. And it turned out that they thought it was about translation only. So that's what I wanted to clear out here, that it's not just that. So, according to the GALA, Globalization and Localization Association, localization is the process of adapting a product or content to a specific locale or market. That basically means tailoring your product to a new part of the target group. So it can mean translation, which is the most common one, the easiest, maybe you could say. It can mean dubbing. Well, do you know what dubbing is? Yeah. So yeah. Mean internationalization, which I'll be talking about later on. Basically, preparing a project for localization. And it could be cultural changes within the game, and it could be legal restriction changes, due to politics there, legal system, stuff like that. So, for instance, you have like voice actors and stuff. You can change them to voice actors from another country for other games, or for other languages. I mean, you have like UI that doesn't really, but yeah, UI basically. This is supposed to be French. No one understands. Could be manuals. Guides, tutorials, printed material. This is from Street Fighter. This is in game. So I actually wanted to put this out. This is from Persona 4, and I don't know how many people play this, but yeah, I play in English. And everything, the UI and stuff are localized and have been, even the dubbing and everything, translation, except for like the in-game in-game signs and stuff. So in the game, they send you, it's very school-based. They send you around in school and they tell you, go to this classroom, go to that classroom. Except that I don't know where to find that classroom because I can't read Japanese. And it's like, yeah, so we spent a lot of time, it was me and my sister, and we spent a lot of time trying to figure out, characters and trying to see, okay, where to find them at Google and stuff. But yeah, so that's where my Japanese came in a bit handy. This is another stuff, cultural stuff. It's not visible here, but it says, this is 2 miles per hour. So this is like a let's go for game left. So it's 2 miles per hour, it's 211 yards. As someone who's grown up in Sweden, I don't know what they're talking about. So yeah, I hope they have a system where they can switch to like kilometers per hour, meters, because it makes no sense to me. It could be the title itself, especially when it's for younger. Yeah, especially for a young audience, you have to think of the title and make it, make sense for them in their native language. It's very important that they feel that kind of connection. So I was actually shocked when people say long stocking. What the hell? It's not called long stocking, it's called long strump. Yeah. Get that right.
Or worse when it's swear language, natural language.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to go that route. If Because swearing language, please check that it's not, it's not offensive, in that native language. So it actually happened. I'll be bringing that up actually. It could be the boxing itself. So this is Swedish of Harry Potter. Yeah, some titles don't change. They're cool like that. Yeah. So, why is localization important in your opinion?
Respect.
Respect?
Well, I'm going with to make more money.
Yeah. I'm going to say that on the internet, but French people suck at English.
So you just
So
think,
you have
I know, I just said accessible, so it would be to people who are cultured.
accessible, I'll say it nicely, reaching out to other cultures. Money. Yeah.
It can be a promotional tool as well, as if people see that a game is available in their language, then the news will spread within the people that you targeted with that particular localization
Yeah.
in a way that it wouldn't if it was only in English.
Yeah. Better exposure, more publicity, global.
And you learn what's offensive to other cultures and other languages. You learn not to put in simple names that are offensive in other languages.
I like that you see it from that point of view. So now it's about the developers themselves to grow and learn more about the world outside. If you want to travel, but that's a nice way of mental traveling. A game will be the will either turn people off due to its inaccessibility or inspire curiosity to learn more about it. Alex, go.
Chinese purple.
Come on, stand up, think about it.
Stand up, yeah.
Go on.
There we go.
In the face. Move it out.
Actually, stand next to the face with it.
With that face.
Stand next to the face, make the face.
I don't recognise you.
Yeah, since it's Friday, I'm gonna do a shout out here. So follow Friday, follow him. It's really good, awesome advice. You see how friendly he is. So.
Thanks for that.
No, really good. Worth following. So. Game dev Alex. So it's all about immersion. If you think about everything you said here, it's all about immersion. You want to catch the player the way you want to do, with the original context, with the original language, with the original culture. But now you're including a new part of the target group. So you are actually you want to extend your target group. But you want them to feel like they are part of this as well. It's not just, hey, you may buy this in your country. It's like, hey, this is for you as well. And that's how we make money. Classic. Yeah, classic. Alibase Atlantos. I mean, must have been very scared to say that.
That was before Google Translate.
Yeah, before. Yeah, that was just horrible. So, I should add here, why is good localization important? Because that's not good for immersion. That will take you out of immersion. So please, if you do localization, think about how to make it in a good way. You want gamers to feel this is for them, and you want gamers to feel immersed. And this kind of things interrupt the immersion and will basically cut the flow, and some gamers will take offense even that you haven't put the right work and effort in it.
British never do that.
Yeah, perhaps I should read this. So this is from a Japanese game. They're actually talking about a girl who's been offended or something, and he just says, so she's a vegetable now, and they translated it literally. She's a vegetable now. Basically, what he means is like she's ignoring you. She's not doing any, no emotions. She's not crying or anything. She's just like a vegetable. yeah. So people expect that to be, all countries, a vegetable just stands still. So it makes sense. Here in World of Warcraft, this is Spanish translation or localization of World of Warcraft, and I've heard rumors, or read rumors, that in Spain, in some parts of Spain, people have a tendency of translating things, just like here, translated literal translations. So yeah, this is nodding. Yeah, so you have to think about that. Speaking of offensive translations. So this is a city called Undercity in the Horde side. They translated it to entrañas, which means entrails. Yeah, you don't want your cool city to be called entrails. Think about that. Think hard about that. That was Blizzard. I mean, this is... Well,
although it does look a bit like a stomach, so...
I guess.
Well, horse's stomach. Horse stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps that was the Localise's story point.
It's a cow, yeah.
It's a cow stomach. Of course it's going to be called entrails. So, we've talked about this. Bigger market, reaching out to people, more downloads, bigger fan base, which is always good, always. More exposure. So you reach out to people, you get more publicity. People, some of them will get fans, some of them more downloads, which means more money. High profit. I think of high risk as well, and additional expenses, time, budget, people. All this will take time, will take money, will take more effort than just making a game in your native language. Is it worth it or is it not? You have to think about that for your game, in your genre. Some games don't need much translation. Some games need a lot of translations. You have to think about that. And as indie game developers, it's really essential what we do with every penny we have. So we have to think about it because it's micro level. It doesn't matter how much you have. You're a small team and you need to be very consistent with how you, with where you put your money, with where you put your effort. So to meet deadlines, to meet, I think many people know here how hard it is to meet deadlines. But when you do take these into account, and when you do that, your fan base will grow a lot. In fact, they say that a third of your fans won't speak your native language, so be sure to include them as well. And I think this is according to Colin's school, which is really good. Localise QA. I'll be bringing it up later. She says that approximately, I think, yeah, it was around 50% or so of people who don't speak English in the world, and you want to get to them as well. They love games, they just don't understand English, and a lot of them are much more willing to buy your games than other people, English-speaking people. So think of how you can make your game appealing to them. So for instance, this is what Uncharted did, and I'm going to be following a link here. So. Yeah?
Yeah, the microphone.
يا صباح الفلافل والحمص والبابا غنوج. Remember me? Ramses. You should thank me, my friend.
Is there?
No uncharted place. Yeah.
The microphone.
Oh, okay.
One more, sorry. Try now.
No?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. A few uncharted fans here. Yeah, I'm one of them. I love the franchise. I love Uncharted. So in this scene, he meets this guy. He's been kidnapped, and I really liked it because as an Arab, native Arab speaker, the first thing I noticed, like, okay, this pirate is Egyptian. The other thing is, he's wearing, I don't know, cowboy clothes. Why? It's basically this is what he says. I'm running on falafel and hummus and baba ganoush. Yes, that's what he said. And this is why it's so hilarious. I mean, you cannot. If this is what you get in translation, you say, "What the hell?" Flip the table. It wouldn't make sense. But this makes more sense, I guess, if I do it this way. Yeah. Good morning, Sunshine. He's actually, he's trolling, playing. For us, this is a typical Egyptian breakfast. So this is why I'm like, oh, okay. He's Egyptian. And he's trolling. Egyptian people are very, very funny. Even in the Arabic speaking regions, we choose Egyptian language for comedy, for the classical stuff, and for stuff like Ben Hill, and although it's not without text, but they put sometimes, and Charlie Chaplin, it's translated and dubbed to Egyptian. So this is why it was hilarious one, everyone loved. Uncharted is big in the MENA region. Yeah?
Maybe you could clarify for the audience, when you say Egyptian, that's Arabic, or Arabic but a specific version of Arabic?
Thank you. True, yeah. Egyptian is an accent, an Arabic accent. So we have three major ones. The Khaliji, which is the Gulf area, which is like Kuwaiti, Emirati, Saudi Arabian, Yemeni, Oman. These are that's that region, Middle Eastern. And then we have the Shami, which is like Jordanian and Lebanese, Syrian, and we also have Palestinian, and then we also have the Egyptian one, which is like its own for Egyptian people.
You have to wonder if there's something in there. We do comedy in Egyptian.
No, it's actually it's high level. We choose it. Yeah, it's really high level, so they're really good. Yeah, here's another example, Travian. This is amazing. It's been downloaded. It's been played. Thank you. It's being played by like 5 million people. It's like it's really big in the MENA region. It's really, really big because they're into like browser games and they're into MMOs. And this is translated to Arabic, and it was perfect. This is about like the Roman kingdom, and you see the Roman Empire, and it's all about like Italy and Rome and whatever. But because it's in Arabic, it's sold huge. And this was one smart student, a German student, who did this. And he's like making loads of money now. No, we wish him good luck, but he's shown us the way, and we do go. Yeah. So no. That's really good. So this shows you don't need a lot of money to do this. You don't need a lot of like resources or something. You just need to internationalize your project. I'll be talking about that. Yeah, how to localize a game. Very high level, how to localize a game. You have to think about it really early on, okay? And because otherwise it's going to be difficult. You have to think about the level of localization. You have to think about internationalization, the preferred languages. You don't want to localize in 200 different languages. If you want to, that's up to you. Localization agencies who to contact. If you don't think about it earlier, it's still going to be the same. You have to think about this. but it's going to be extra fast and additional development time. So first, the level of localization. What I mean by that is, for example, subtitle. As I mentioned earlier, some games, like racing games, you don't need to do everything in, dubbing and all that kind. You don't dub car something. you just translate the menu.
Maserati versus BMW.
Yeah, exactly. We need Suzuki. Yeah. So, whereas in an MMO, you saw the text, the amount of text, a lot, and then you have to think about the voices, dubbing, UI, menu translations, stuff like that. Some games have very little text in their UI and menus, so maybe you don't need to. Everyone will understand the start, like, okay, maybe I don't need to do that. And others, like, no, we have the lore text first, and then we need to translate that. Manuals, box translations, is that important? We have digital downloads, dubbing, which is a bit interesting in different parts of the world. We have, like, for example, in Beyond, and so we have Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe, and it's like really cool people out there, actors. In Japan, they would like frown upon it. It's like, well, no, but we have voice actors, real voice actors. So they don't like this. Actually, yeah, producers from Nintendo, I think what's his name, Miyamoto or something, I forgot his name. He actually went out and said, it can't be accepted in Japan. We have to dub it with our own, like, proper voice actors, because they have that kind of culture. So you have to think about who you're talking to as well.
They have that in the Indian nations as well, because they have their preferred stars and things, and everyone just really gets excited when they listen and go, oh, such and such is coming back. And
oh yeah? Yes, eh?
it's true.
So, yeah, so I was amazed, like, whoa, really? Well, yeah, they can be, and then I thought, like, in anime and manga, like, yeah, that's true, I actually go look for those. I shouldn't.
There are people who are specifically famous for being the voice actors.
Yeah.
They don't have a problem of that's the voice from this other thing. They don't get typecast or whatever into a session.
It's the other way around, actually.
Yeah.
It's like this anime is famous because this person is dubbing this character sometimes.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Funny thing is, like, I don't think I've ever seen his face, but I would recognize his voice from miles away. I shouldn't be saying this to your recording, but yeah. Let's move forward. In-game asset localization. That's what I was talking about with the Persona 4 stuff, like classroom signs and stuff like that. But they would be localized. But it's also other. This is really funny in Final Fantasy. Some characters who have like black hair, they've done them blonde for the American version. It's like, I don't know how much sense that makes for Americans. Yes, he's blonde now, so it's more believable. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, to some extent, you don't want to over-localize things. And then some cultural and legal issues. We'll talk about that in a second. And website and forums, which is like going all the way, out of the game and into people's homes, really, and people's lives outside. Big companies do that. As indie developers, that might not be very, might not be very, not relevant, but that might be very
better marketing.
Better marketing, but it will be still too much. I mean, you're gonna need a community manager, and you're gonna need people who work outside, because you can't answer questions.
Multilingual.
Yeah. So think about what you need in your game, and not put everything in just for the sake of it. Because there's the term I mentioned earlier, over-localization, which makes things just awkward. don't do that. As for cultural stuff, this is the things that you really need to think about in your game early on. Violence, drugs, history, religion, and politics. You know, how you present them in your game and how they will be perceived by this new part of the target group if they are going to be offended by any of these. A lot of people go, like, I don't know if you've seen it, you know, there's this old movie called Black Hawk Down. Yeah, so we saw it like, yay! But then half of the class, who were actually from that region, they were pissed off. They were really pissed off, so the teacher just decided never to show this movie again. Well, yeah, that goes to, you know, you make sure you don't offend people. Same thing with, yeah, some people are less tolerant towards how you present and show violence and drugs.
These are the good mental things, isn't it? I think someone was telling me yesterday that you can't have graffiti in Japanese-style games because it promotes graffiti.
Yeah, stuff.
Someone was telling me that.
Yeah, it might be like that. Yeah.
It's interesting you're saying about that Roman soldier, one translating, localised into Arabic and selling one in that area, because obviously history and, you know, politics suggest that might have been a risk, given that they, you know, they did actually invade at that point, or at some point. So, super.
Yeah. Well, you have to think about, you know, where you stand in that case, because you're basically going to be going up and saying, hey, here's my game, and this is the research I've done, and this is how we're going to present the game, because people will say, because what? Because it's fun, because it's true.
I wonder whether outside of that area the Romans win lots, and inside that area, you know, if you can only play the Romans, for example, they deliberately sabotage them just for, you know, because they preferred that side to win, and, you know, maybe the designer actually made it so that that was actually a valid win condition for the just interesting.
Yeah, but workarounds basically. So.
Barbarian.
Barbarian, ooh, dangerous word.
Yeah, we're going. So, Lucy?
Yeah, if I may, I think so sex and genders, feminism in general should be, I mean, no one's making a rape game basically, but which usually is against women, but it's obviously not okay in a lot of countries.
Yeah, for example,
I mean, it's a big example, but there's like...
Yeah, exactly. So have like option to switch off things.
Blood.
Yeah, exactly. Like blood, yeah.
Can't tell that.
Yeah. No, but really, yeah. Might sound like ridiculous thing, but...
Well, no, it's very serious in a lot of different areas.
So what may need to be changed? Yeah, blood.
Yeah.
Exactly. As you said, so you have to think about, you know, whether you want to show blood or not, how it's perceived. You feel like, it's like PG-12, but it's going to be up to PG-15, you know, rated differently, so just because of little things.
We get odd things. Yes, you turned off blood, but you're still showing someone skewering someone with a knife through their neck. But there's no blood.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, so you have to be careful with those as well. Try to see how, you know, how you would benefit as a developer and how the gamer would benefit by switching up these things.
An interesting thing is, I'm behind the Great Wall of the USK, the German side, and one of the things is, if you have ragdolls, like character falls using physics as ragdoll, that can actually increase the age rating up to an 18.
Wow, yeah, apparently in Germany it's like crazy stuff.
You can, if you set somebody on fire, they get really annoyed about that. And they will also, but the thing is, at the same time, if somebody's covered with acid, no, that's completely, that's slapstick, they won't care. So they're very specific, but they will, if you sell retail-wise, they will fine you massively if they find out about any of this. So you have to be very careful what you include, and they have this very specific list of stuff that they kind of go very straight about. And ragdolls being specifically this.
I'm just going to say something. I'm sorry, we need to keep on time, and it's great we're having a conversation, but that needs to happen after the talks. I'm sorry, it's
right.
fun, but also if you talk at the front quietly, no one can hear you at the back, so you need to consider that, and we need to stay on time, and there's 10 minutes left. So just letting everyone know. Sorry that's to be a bore, but that's the case. So, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll have some time to talk afterwards as well. And I'll be here all day if you want to catch up and talk. But I hope you heard him, it's really important. So ragdoll, make sure you don't have ragdolls swinging. Yeah. This is true for many cultures. You can kill people, but swears are not allowed. For example, in the Arabic region, really. So yeah, that animations, that was, I didn't want to put something too offensive, so I put a lame thing. But ragdolls and how they fall and stuff like that can really up your rating. And yeah, that's just lame, so that's, yeah, and yeah, so love scenes and stuff, as you mentioned, can be problematic. So make sure you don't, you can like switch them off, or skip scene, skip scene or something. He's a character I love. I really love this guy from The Walking Dead. The game is brilliant. Beyond brilliant. I really love it. I really appreciate it. I appreciate how much work they've done with psychological aspect. But this guy, he expresses everything with the F word. He has that thing, and he's actually the only, the only character and person who uses the word in its right context. So I wasn't really offended, but I can see why people won't be able to play the game in the Arabic region, because that's all he says. Everything he says, like, oh my god, and he says the F word, and then zombies come after him, like, oh my god, and he says it. And so everything, and if something is sweet, and he just stated it as well. It means everything. So, so if we need to invent a new word for him, just for that, because he's just too awesome to me.
Strawberry.
I actually said potato. So internationalization, I'm going to be speeding up now. Internationalization basically means you are preparing your own project for everything. You're preparing it for localization, subtitle and everything. So part of that means wise resource management. This is really, really, really important. Wise resource management. What that means is everything from like external assets. Don't hard-code things in. Don't put things into like absolute paths and stuff like that. And just have them completely external. Serialization, which basically means you're reading from a text file. I want this file, and you have a variable, and that external text file will tell you what that means. So it's really funny I have Tearaway, but that was actually my first project that I internationalized the Tearaway soundtrack. So if anyone has bought that, that's my fault. But yeah, you just read it, and for PS Vita, for example, and it would say, hey, go to PS Vita version, and this is what it means. Subtitling system, where you have sheets that tell you what time these appear, which language. You want to separate that as well from the dubbing system, so that you can say, in some games you can use dubbing in one language, like native language English, and then you have Swedish subtitles. So you don't want to have the same language and everything. Naming conventions, self-explanatory. Yeah, mapping like English and then the same name, or something like that. So make sure it's consistent. Multi-track audio files, so you don't have the background music, sound effects, and the voice actor speaking in one track. You want to divide them, and you just so that when you send the file to another language, to another localizer, another translator, another actor, they would just remove the, say, English voice actor's track and put their own, and the background music, the sound effects would stay the same. and you have compatible fonts and font sizes. So important is UTF. Use Unicode, really important. Preferably UTF 16, for example. UTF is standardized globally, so it will be more included. If you use like UTF-8 or ASCII or whatever, many Chinese characters, for example, won't appear correctly. You would have those squares and nulls and whatever. So make sure your fonts are actually compatible in all languages to localize to. And also font sizes. For example, Arabic, a general rule is you need to up it with 2 fonts, because the Arabic font is not as big as the English font. Hotkey mappings. This is in France. Why do you always do things? They're like the trolls of their people. It's like it's just not it. No.
Because the accents,
yeah, the accents,
in lots of
yeah. No, I'm trolling. I have French relatives. So they know I'm playing them. But really, you have to think. This is not just French. This is. You know, in some parts of the Arabic world, they use French keyboard, so you need to think about that as well. And regional settings options, because it might be very, you know, it might be something trivial, but yeah, you need to have an option somewhere saying this is for Americans. I'm insulting a lot here, isn't I? No, it's not bad. We might be the ones doing it wrong.
No.
Yeah, no, but you have to think about, you know, it might sound something's trivial, something is, you know, self-explanatory, but it's not. We think differently. We have to respect that. So it's not that I'm against French people. We just have to think about different cultures, and if we want to reach out to them, we have to think like them. We have to be like them. In that sense, preferred languages. This is interactive projects reaching out to Twitter again. They localize their games. They're indie developers, really good people. And they say for North Europe, North America, India, Australia, English is okay. For South America, Europe, and Asia, you need to localize. Roughly true. By the way, 22 million people in America speak Spanish, not so good with English. So don't think because America is like fine, we do it in English. You need to target. Yeah. Follow from good people. Lots of good advice. These are the languages that most popular games. That you can reach out to fairly easily. English, Russian, Japanese, Italian, Chinese, Vietnamese, Spanish, Arabic, French. Some good languages. Okay. And localization agencies. You can go to indie-friendly agencies. There are lots of them. Google them up. Freelancers, individuals. We have Lucy here. Is a localizer. Yeah. She's French.
Yeah.
That's German.
No.
What? Okay.
No, but I can help you in French myself, and then I can help you find other people who can help you in different languages. Yeah, basically.
Gotcha. And let me do this. Kuri Barcelo, you know her? Yeah, she's really awesome. So follow her, ask her. You can go to her for lots of information, further information. She's a really good localizer, QA tester. She's been working with everything from like individuals to big companies over the years. And she has her own team, so they do localization in like Spanish and Italian and Russian and Polish and Japanese and Arabic and Swedish, and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And they're all like freelancers, individuals who come together and they love games. So that's really good to see. Karin Skog, American novelist in Stockholm. She's really good. She's blogging a lot, giving lots of information, statistics. So, Huda, Huda, they will connect you further. You know, they have like this localization SIG, I think. So they basically try to collect, well, not collect, but gather people, localize them. You can also use translation apps for that. Here's an example, Mini Metro by Pierre Curry. He used this into his game, and basically everything, you know, the serialization, everything is on the cloud, and fans just translated it for him. It's it was made into 24 different languages. And this is what he said. So you use Transpex. We use Transpex. Great way to get people involved. And a lot of offers for translations. Hard to verify correctly, so keep that in mind.
That's basic.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is bad localization. So at Peter C _NZ. Thank you for listening.
So we just have a couple of minutes for questions, just very quick. So if anyone's got a question now, we can take a couple.
Just shout loud and we'll all mic.
You just need to shout.
If you translated, say, Spanish and Portuguese, does that cover you for South America?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Do you have to translate differently to, say, Brazil to Portugal?
Sorry, if I may. So the thing is, for Spanish, there is normally a way to make it okay for both South America and Spanish from Spain, but you need to tell the translator ahead. And you need to make sure that the translators really know what they're doing. But because normally you have Latin America, and then you have Spanish from Spain. In some cases, I think, and then I can't be 100% sure, it might be a problem, but usually there is a way to make it work. And for Portuguese, it's not really possible. Usually people localize more in Brazilian Portuguese because the market is bigger. But and it's the same for French Canada and France, because they do everything in French, and we don't, and we sound weird to each other. Especially for dialogues. So if it's very academic, it's very serious, it won't make a difference. But if it's dialogues and you use slang, it's going to be extremely awkward.
But if it's all text-based?
If it's all text-based, you may, so if it's just instructions?
Yeah.
For French, it should be fine. For Spanish, I can't be sure, so I'm not gonna. But I think it's possible to make it. But you have to look for a translator who is not, who is aware of that, and they need to be told, and it's possible to make it work. Basically, yeah. If I can make a comment, on the translation side, which is usually what I tell developers, if you want to localize your game, what you need to think ahead the most is to make sure you have enough room for other languages, because languages like French and especially German are much longer than English. So if you can allow twice as long, at least 50% more would be ideal. Otherwise, we will tell you that we can't make it work properly. We'll have to abbreviate, and it's going to look terrible, and it's going to be very robotic. So that's the thing. Allow enough room. Try to avoid sentences with codes, like you can find blank in blank. That's the worst, because we use genders, so we're gonna genderify, the place and the name of the characters, and it might change something in the sentence. Like in French, it's gonna change the verb and the adjectives. So it's gonna be harder for everyone, basically, if you can, of course. But especially the place is really the main thing. The amount of space.
Cool, thank you. Any other questions at all? Right, okay, so if you want to speak to Huda afterwards, then feel free to go, and we'll have a few breaks and things. So, is this? Yeah, we're just going to take